Hey, welcome back to this channel. I hope that you've been doing well. I'm great myself and excited about this new tutorial. Okay, so let's get right into it. I have here with me this dress that I made a while ago. I think maybe 3-4 years ago. I made it for a certain ceremony that I had, and I just started sewing, so I just thought this would be perfect for me to do a demonstration on. Okay, so we're going to be learning how to put or to create keyhole or multiple keyholes rather on your garment. So it can be on your skirt, on your dress, wherever you want to put it. Okay, so I'm going to be using this dress. So on whatever project you're going to be doing it, it must be a complete outfit, or I mean a complete how do I put it? Okay, so it must be, if it's on a dress, the dress must be complete. That is, if you're going to line it, it should be already lined. If it's not lined, it's fine, but you must have finished creating that particular garment before you go on to create the multiple keyholes. So for this particular one, I'm going to be placing them around the neckline. Okay, I'm going to be putting the keyholes around the neckline like this. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how we're going to do that. So let me just take this out of the table, and then you're going to be needing a paper. I have a paper here so that you can create your templates for the shapes that you're going to make, the shapes of the keyholes. Remember that you can also make different kinds of shapes. You can use triangles, you can use squares, you can use circles, diamond shapes, and anything really that any shape that you want to use. So I have a piece of paper, I have the measuring tape here, a scissors, and then pencil and eraser. And for me, I'm going to be using a hemming gum to attach the pieces to the main dress after we've sewn them, because I don't want to use a needle and thread. That could be another option if you don't have that. And of course, I've got a ruler or a measuring gauge, but I think I'll be using a ruler for this particular tutorial. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to go right into the tutorial. We're going to start by creating the template for your shape. So before you can create that template, of course, you should have decided which shape you want to use. I think I'm going to go for a square shape or something like that. But if you look at the thumbnail, that was an oval shape. So you can go with anything. If you want, you can use a triangle, you can use a rectangle. I don't know. I don't know how it would look with a rectangle though. But anyway, you can decide. Maybe you can use a star shape or something like that. So we're going to go with a triangle, though I'm going to show you how to draw out two shapes. In any case, you can also use something. If you want something oval, you can use a lid of a bottle or anything that gives you the shape that you want, and just use that to trace out. Okay, so in case you don't have anything to use to draw out your shapes, so here I'm going to use, you also need to decide the size of the shapes that you're going to be using. For example, for my squares or for my shape, I'm going to be using, let's say, okay, a length of 2 inches. Okay, because I want them a little bit big, so I'm using 2 inches, and I'll draw two shapes here so that you can see. So because I want like a square, what I'll do is I'll get the midpoint of that line. Okay, I just want to make sure this is 2 inches, so the midpoint is there. Okay, and then you also decide how wide you want your shape to be. So I will use 1 inch width. Okay, you can make it wider, you can make it smaller, it's up to you. So then what you do is just join that point to the top of that straight line that you drew, and then you do the same thing. Okay, you do it that way. Okay, and then to draw the other side, you can do it two ways. You can just extend from that point. You know your width is 1 inch. So then the next thing is just to connect that point back Okay, let me move something there. Okay, so you just connect it back to the top and to the bottom, and you should get the same shape, and you should get that shape rather. Okay, so you'd have something like that. Otherwise, what I do is just to fold your paper once you've drawn the first side. Okay, just fold your paper in half and then draw out the shape. So you would come out 1 inch. This looks like more than 1 inch. Let me just confirm that. Okay, okay, so let me use that reference point. So 1 inch would be somewhere there. I thought it looked okay. And then you would join it to the other end so that it's symmetric when you cut it. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Or if you want, remember we've already drawn our 2-inch point. I'll just do this so that you can see where the drawing was. Okay, so what you do, if you want an oval shape, you just draw something like a pearl or oval. Not very good in drawing, but you can make something like that. So if you want it to be wider here, then you can decide a point, how wide you want it to be, and then you just draw it that way. The next thing would be for you to just cut it, and you'd have, like in our case, we're looking for that square kind of shape. So because it's at asymmetric, when you fold it, you get your shape. And if you want to use this oval, you just cut it round. Otherwise, just get something with an oval shape, or if it's a circle, and then you use that for your template. So you can see that we have our 2 shapes. So I'm going to go with this one and see how it will come out. The next thing also, you want to make sure before you cut it on your fabric, you must leave at least 1 inch or so around, because you're going to need that excess fabric to flip it to the inside once you have stitched it on your garment. Okay, so here now I've gone on to create my templates. I have 5 pieces here because I want to make 5 holes. Okay, I want to make 5 keyholes, so I created that using my template. So I just cut out the pieces of fabric, making sure I have excess around the box, and then you can see that is the size of the square that we're going to be using. So you also notice that I've gone on to add a lightweight interfacing before drawing this shape. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to decide, where's the dress? You need to decide where on the dress you want, or where on your garment you want to place the keyholes. Okay, okay, so for these ones, what I'll do is I'm going to go, so from the tip of my neckline, I'll go down maybe 1.5 inch. Okay, I'm just looking for my chalk here, but anyway, I'll get that. So okay, let me organize my tape there. So I'm going to measure from the tip of my neckline here. I'm going to measure 1.5 inch down. Okay, so then I'm going to draw a line around the neckline, or around here. I will place that line so that it will be a guide for me where to place this keyhole, because I don't want this keyhole to be right up by the neckline. You see, I want it to be at least 1.5 inches below, and then I'm going to place them at an angle. I think I want it at an angle, something like this. Okay, so something like that, so it's going to be, my holes are going to be around the neckline like this. Okay, the next thing we're going to do after we've decided and determined where you want the keyholes, you are going to go and stitch on top on the right side of the fabric. So you have right side of your of your piece or your template facing right side of your garment, dress, top, whatever it is, and then you are just going to stitch around that area. Okay, and then after that we will see what the following step should be. Okay, so I've gone on to draw the line around the neckline. This is what is going to help me know where I should place the keyholes. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be placing them around, but also at an angle. I don't want it to be like this. So where one of the tips will have to meet the line. Okay, if you want, this would be too high because it's too wide. Okay, remember I used a wider or a bigger size. So I'm just going to put the tip of the box. One of the tips of the boxes should be should touch this line. So I just want to see that it's at the center. Okay, and once you're satisfied, you can just pin that in place before you go on to stitch. You're going to go and stitch and just follow that line that you created, and you're going to do the same for the other 4 boxes. Remember, we are making 5 keyholes, so I have 4 pieces that I cut out in boxes, and then I traced the pattern there. So I'm just going to be placing it like that, and then I'll place it around that line. Okay, so you can measure, if you want to be precise, you can measure the distance between one box to the other, or in between the boxes, or if it's squares or whichever shape that you are using. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the machine and quickly stitch around the shapes. Okay, so now I'm just going to stitch around that square that I drew. I'm just going to go and follow that shape. Okay, so when I get to that edge, I'm just going to pivot, and then I turn. I'm using a black thread so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then just continue. Okay, just going to continue pivoting it when I get to there. Okay, okay, tip. Okay, so I'm dealing with, okay, so okay, so this is what our box looks like. And at this point, because I've already stitched it, you see, I just followed that tracing that I had of the paper. I just want to reduce the size of the square just a little bit. I think it's a little bit too big, making sure not to cut the fabric below there. I'm also just going to just reduce here a little bit, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to snip there. Hope you can see. So I just folded it because I want to make a hole in there. So careful, make sure that you have punctured all through, and then you want to cut. Make sure you do not cut the thread. Okay, so you're going to remove the the middle part of this square. Okay, if you are cutting an oval shape, you will be removing the center so that you can flip this remaining pieces to the inside. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, so I'm just cutting, and I want to go almost to the edge, but not cutting through the stitch, because then it will be a problem. Okay, so you remove that, and then you also just want to snip. Don't cut through to the thread, please. Just okay, I just want to reduce this so that it's not bulky or creating any excess on the inside. Okay, I want to go as far as I can go, especially in the corners, so that it will be able to lie nicely. Okay, so I hope you can see. I'm just trying to snip in there. Okay, so this is what I have after I've cut out the middle of this square. So what you do next is just to flip this to the wrong side of your fabric, and you just need to press it nicely. Okay, you flip it to the other side, and it's going to need a very good press so that it can lie comfortably and create that beautiful shape on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to stitch all the other pieces, iron them flat, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting hemming gum underneath here and then ironing it to keep these flaps in place. Okay, so that they're not moving out of, you know, to come to the front. Okay, so I'm just putting like a small piece. Actually, I'm cutting in the middle because it's quite wide. So just place a bit under there around. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, just placing hemming gum so that it can hold the flaps in place. And don't cut your flaps. I'm going to call them flaps, ne? These pieces, when you flip it to the this is the wrong side. Don't cut them too short because they will give you issues. I'd cut mine too short, so you can see they were giving me issues there just to stay in place. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to flip this so that I can iron nicely. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how to put the hemming gum. For those of you who've never used the hemming gum, it's a glue, so once you apply heat it will just stick. Okay, so you can apply to hems or areas where you do not want the stitch to be visible, especially on the outside. Okay, yeah, okay, so yeah, so you have something like that, something like that. You see, it won't be coming out on the inside. So I'm just going on to do the same for the other horse, and then we should be done. Okay, but otherwise this is how it's looking on the right side. Maybe I should put it on this white piece so that you can see through. Okay, so you can see we have created our square keyholes. Okay, I hope you can see that. Don't remove this green piece. Okay, so we have our keyholes. I'm going on to put the hemming gum to these two so that it lies flat. Okay, but otherwise that is how you go about creating your keyholes. You can actually see the skin through there, and I'm just going off to finish off the other two. I'll be gumming them with this hemming gum. Okay, okay, and then after that we'll be done. Hey, so I've gone on to try on the dress. It's a little bit loose. I haven't worn it in 3 years or so, but for demonstration purposes, this is how our keyholes came out like. I hope that you can see them. I used a square shape, and you can certainly use any shape that you want. You can use a pear shape, you can use a star shape, you can use a diamond shape, you can use any shape that you want. You can even, I was thinking I should try this on, like a shape of a leaf, you know, and then you just place them here. I think they would look nice. So you can just play around with the shapes and see how it comes out. I think I like the shape myself. The one that we had in the thumbnail, of course, it was, I think, more like oval or a round shape. So I decided to do something different. That's why I went for this square shape, and I'm happy with the result. I really like how it came out. I think I should try it out on other outfits that fit well. This one is a little bit loose, as you can see, but I just wanted you to see it on my body and to see the outcome. So I hope that you can try out these multiple keyholes on your garments, just to make it spicy, and maybe you want to show a little bit of skin. Okay, so this is one way you can do it, and I think it's cool. It's really cool. Okay, so thank you very much for watching to the end. I hope that you have a blessed week, and I'll see you on our next video. Bye. So this is it. Wow, I like it. See you.